Riding with the Rabbi.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Riding with the Rabbi. Today, I've got a really special guest today. I hope you recognize the company in the car, Rabbi James Proops. Rabbi James Proops from Synagogue of the Suburban Torah Center. Do you say the shul name like that?
Suburban Torah.
Oh, okay, very good. I like that.
Suburban Torah.
As you all know, Rabbi Proops is still, I think we can still say new.
I think so.
Relatively new. A tremendous addition to the community, and we're so glad to have you and your wife here, Sarah, and your kids, and a great addition to the community. I could tell you firsthand that my kids are the beneficiaries because of your wife's work in Kushner High School. They really love her. And you and I, we share a lot, but perhaps we share the most important pasuk in the Torah, which is Kol Asher Tamar Sarah Shema B'Kola. Whatever Sarah says, listen. So that's
Sounds good.
Anyway, so welcome to town. So I we'll just kind of let it flow, let people get to know you a little bit. Where are you from?
I am originally from London. We've been around the world a little. London, lived in Israel, lived in LA, and now we're Livingston life.
But you're like 25 years old, so how's that possible?
But don't let looks deceive you. That's why I grew the beard, to give myself some extra years.
Okay, and how did you know that you wanted to become a rabbi? Or when, and
the whole story. So I finished college, university as we call it, and I was actually headed to law school. Had my place set up, and I was on my way. And I was recruited I was persuaded and recruited to take some time out before law school and be a youth director for the shul where I grew up. They needed a full-time youth director. It was a huge community, over 2,000 families.
What shul was that?
Stanmore and Cannons Park United Synagogue.
They have the best names. The shuls there have the best names.
It's pretty good. It was a big shul, big community, and I'd always been involved in the shul growing up there, madrich, counselor, running things, helping with things. So they asked me, the rabbi there asked me, and I decided to do it. So I took some time out, didn't go to law school, and I never looked back. Got into working with the community. I loved it, enjoyed it very much. Started dating Sarah at the time, who also grew up in the shul and was involved working with the kids. And we made the decision that this would be our life's calling. Got married, moved to Israel, and went to learn.
Mate, where did you learn?
I was in Darchei Noam in Chappelle's, and then in the Kollel in the Tiv Aryeh.
Wow, so like an old city guy, huh?
Old city, lived in the old city. We had a house, and it was great. Old city living, very hard to leave, difficult place to leave.
So how many years were you in Israel?
5.
5 years in Israel, and then you went to LA?
The only thing that could pull us out of living in Yerushalayim, something had to be really worth it to pull us out. So again, we were recruited to go and work on campus, the college campus. We worked for Aish UK. Went to Leeds in the north of England. You're probably familiar with Leeds United Football Club.
Seth?
Almost.
Leeds United, yes.
Leeds United. Leeds has a huge university, a big Jewish student population. And so we worked for Aish for a couple of years, doing campus work, which was very rewarding, and met a lot of great people. From there, we moved to London. You're on the whole biography.
I want to know. I want people to know who you are.
The whole biography.
I want people to know what we have here in town.
So we did campus.
I've been from New York to New Jersey, and that's it. That's the extent of my travel.
Okay.
So
So yeah, we did Israel. Then we did Leeds, which was a real experience. Not something that we could do for too long in living in inner city Leeds student land. And then we moved to London. I was the assistant rabbi of a shul called Mill Hill United Synagogue.
Another awesome name.
Another very big shul, the 7th biggest shul in the UK.
Do they rank themselves? Do they sit there?
Based on memberships. They're all part of the same organisation, so you have to...
Right, the United Synagogue.
The United Synagogue. We had about 1,300 families.
I sleep 1,300, you sleep 1,200. Right, okay, yeah.
Exactly.
My favorite name of all time of any shul has to be St. John's Wood.
St. John's Wood.
I mean, that's,
it
sounds either like a homeopathic remedy or a really non-Jewish sounding shul, but yeah. Great.
St. John's Wood. That's right. So we were in Mill Hill, assistant rabbi there for a couple of years, working with young families and the rest of the community. And then from there, we were introduced to the Young Israel of Century City congregation in Los Angeles. And we made the jump, and we were in LA for 4 years. It was a great time.
And that's when we first began to hear about you. First of all, we have a lot of connections there. Of course, Rabbi Muskin, and we have a lot to do with Rabbi Muskin over the years. Any rabbi in America has to do with Rabbi Muskin.
Right. Well, he was one of the big pulls for me to go there. Opportunity to work with him, to do some shimush, see how a successful community is run.
Right.
It was a great learning opportunity.
Of course, his daughter Gila,
yes,
and his son-in-law Rabbi David Block are not only our very, very close friends, but he's our chazan on Rosh Hashanah Kippur for Shachris.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a lot of all right, so we shrunk the world. That's good. And now here you are on the East Coast.
Here we are in Livingston, and you're showing me around streets I've never seen before.
See that? There we go. So let me just add a couple of Livingston related questions. How's it going? We know it's going. You're doing great. But what's been the hardest part, let's say, for you and your family? I guess you could say UK to United States, but you've been in the United States for some time now. West Coast to East Coast. What's the most different, or I wouldn't say challenging, but what kind of you can't figure out here about the East Coast versus the West Coast? Aside from the fact that yesterday was 74 degrees, and today was 30 degrees.
The weather is a big thing. A lot of people, when we told them, New Jersey, East Coast, people in LA are like, why would you do that to yourself? You have solid weather every day, and we figured, how bad can it be, the weather? And it's not so bad. It's fine, but it's very different. The snow. I mean, my kids, the first time it snowed, the first time it snowed, I think we had about half an inch, and my kids were outside at 7 o'clock in the morning playing in it because they'd never seen snow before.
Right. So I saw your wife made a really cute video on Facebook about that, and I'm thinking it's like a dusting.
Right.
For us, it's not, but for you guys, wow,
that was the real thing. Then they soon realized that, even when we had a big snow, again, they were out 7:30 in the morning, and then they realized it stays for many days.
We have to get up too early.
They have to get it right. So now they know. Now they're seasoned pros, I guess. The East Coast. I guess the East Coast. One of the big. Again, I wouldn't say it's a challenge. Everything's the spaced out. Everywhere. There's a lot of different communities all over New Jersey, New York. Whereas in LA, it's much more concentrated. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we've got to get used to. Don't realize, someone says, "Oh, you're in New Jersey," it doesn't mean anything. New Jersey's huge.
You figured out how to make a left turn in these parts?
It took us a while.
You got this new term, something called the jug handle.
The jug handle. I didn't even remember what it was called.
Yeah, that's like almost as bad as the traffic circles in Israel.
With England we call them roundabouts.
Right. Great song by Yes, by the way.
I'll take your word for it.
So now that you've gotten to know Livingston and Suburban Torah and Metro West and Kushner and all that, so what do you see sort of as your your goals for the community, or like Baruch Hashem, we're doing things together. Right now, people should know we're doing this project. Rabbi Proops brought forward through J-Roots to help people in Ukraine, even a little bit that we can do, because we all feel kind of helpless. We want to do something, but we don't know what it is that we can do. So every little bit helps. So kol hakavod to you for that. But what do you see sort of as your as your vision for Suburban Torah, or certainly for the Torah Livingston community, because we're in this together.
Right. So I think, right now it's still, as you said, it's early days for us. So we're still, becoming acquainted. We're learning the community, and we want to strengthen, and if that means growth, then great. If it means encouraging more people to come. Livingston's a great place, a great community. There's interest. People are interested in coming and moving to the community. And there's a lot going for it, so we want to contribute to that. We want to help it strengthen itself, both in its roots and in its growth. And I think together we can do that.
That's amazing. Now, how have your kids adjusted? They have accents. I don't.
Depends who they're talking to. And
It comes and goes, right?
It comes and goes. It comes and goes. When they're with us, it's a little more English. When it's with their friends, it's full on American. The interesting thing is, which is fascinating, is that you'll hear them and you'll think they're speaking with an English accent, and then our family in London will hear them say the same thing and they'll think it's American. But I guess it's to do with the syntax or something. You hear American, they hear English, the same sentence.
Yes.
Which is very interesting. But you know, they're doing great. They love it. Enjoying the space. You know, we live in the countryside. Animals everywhere, grass, trees. It's,
well, when it gets
living.
warmer, you have to take them to Turtleback Zoo.
We will.
Really great. They have, when it's over 60 degrees, you can see the giraffes. And it's literally 2 minutes away from here,
right.
Which is great. And also, hopefully they still have loyalty to proper sport,
so they have
real football.
Well, they have got very into NFL the last couple of years, especially the Rams this year, LA allegiances.
Okay.
Very excited. But as you know, Rabbi Klibanoff, the Tottenham Hotspur veins run strong in the Proops family. So
that's why we get along.
That's the secret.
Kois.
That's the secret.
It's all about Kois, right?
That's right.
We have quite a number of Spurs fans in the shul, actually, and the rest we don't talk to. So that's good. But it's hard to, especially East Coast, because of time differences, etc. It's harder to watch football and have the nerve of playing on Shabbos all the time.
Yeah,
so
right.
we
make it work.
Okay. Do they play? The boys play?
They did. They now not so much. We'll see. They used to.
Once it gets warmer.
They used to. Once it gets warmer.
Okay. Okay. And your wife, by the way, she's I say that about my wife also. She's not the better half. She's the whole thing.
That's right.
But I've heard incredible things, as I mentioned earlier, that my kids absolutely love learning with her and from her, and I think it's a tremendous addition to the community. And I think that your family in general is a really incredible addition to the community, and we're so glad to have you here and that we're doing stuff together. See, we're just meeting on an average weekday, not just to do this, but we're going to talk shop, and we have what to accomplish. So I hope that the folks over at Suburban Torah really appreciate the gems that you have in the Proops family, and certainly in our community here in Eitz Chaim appreciate the leadership that Livingston Jewish community has. And we just wanted everybody to get to know the greatest rising stars that we have here right in our backyard. So
well, thank you for having me. I have been waiting a long time to get on one of your videos, so I am honored.
You and my mom has said no one ever. So and God willing, lots more stuff to do. So thanks so much.
And I didn't feel it wasn't dangerous. You drive very nicely.
I do. Some people when they drive, I have kids who drive now, so I have where you're sitting, I have that imaginary brake. But
I didn't push it down.
Right, not even once. You'll get there soon enough. All right, everybody, we'll see you here next time. Thank you so much.